Welcome to the Self Storage Show, where I have conversations with my industry friends, talk with owners and vendors, and share tales about my management company, 3 Mile Storage. Let's go. Hi, everyone. This is Jim Ross with the Self Storage Show. We're going to do another little interview series here. These are always fun. Got Vanessa Rovekamp with me. She's the Director of Marketing at Devon Self Storage. How's it going, Vanessa?
It's great. How are you, Jim? Thank you for having me on the Self Storage Show today. I appreciate it.
Oh, of course. It's kind of fun. It's can't believe we haven't met really in the past. So at least it gives me an opportunity to be able to say hi and meet people this way.
Yes, the self storage industry is a big world, but small as well. So super exciting.
I know it's one of those things where it's a small circles. It's kind of like a 2 degrees of separation. Like if you don't know that one person, like ask them, and they'll know that person. Yeah, it's how it
Multiple. It's like a whole family tree. Yes, for sure.
I love it. Yeah, if you don't mind, just give us a little brief introduction of who you are, how you got in the industry, and hey, we'll go from there.
Absolutely. Who I am, Vanessa Rovekamp, Director of Marketing here at Devon Self Storage. How I got into the industry. So really got into the self storage industry because of the marketing and automation that we have through technology and leveraging that to drive leads. So really for me, it was coming in from the real estate side. So self storage just was one of those verticals that I just really loved and really saw an opportunity as we grow this vertical where automation, whether it's driving leads or better operational automation with some of the platforms out there, really got me excited. So I jumped in and had the opportunity with Devon Self Storage to implement a lot of those opportunities and strategies.
You're speaking my language. So anytime there's automation I can talk about and you get
Yeah,
more efficiencies and all that kind of stuff, and like my ears perk, so
absolutely.
I'll learn too. If you don't mind, how big is Devon now? I know it's been
Oh,
a
yeah.
how big is it now?
Great question. So currently we have 108 properties that we have in our portfolio and growing. Currently we're one of the larger third party management companies in this space, closest to a REIT. So really for us, growth is what our strategy is. 2024, with the merger with Inland Real Estate Capital, we're very excited to see that growth coming down the pipeline and really just expanding and tapping into the resources between Inland and ourselves to achieve that growth. So our goal is by the end of the year to have 200 plus properties under our sleeve and really just automation is going to be a key to that, right? Having not many properties and how we can efficiently grow
Yeah.
grow that rapidly. So the operational aspect, the lead flow aspect, so all aspects of our portfolios will be driven by automation to better be efficient for our customers and for our prospects.
Yeah, that's why I asked that because yeah, it's not like it's just
Yeah,
on 2 locations and hey, talk. You, it's a necessity to have automation in
absolutely.
place. If you're gonna grow at that pace, you better have it in line.
Absolutely. Well, and at all stages, right? So, from the time that you're looking for self-storage, right? It's not self-storage isn't one of those pieces that you go to the mall and say, "Hey, I need self-storage." Like, "Hey, I need a new pair of gym shoes," right? So it's not one of those I'd like to have. It's I need it right now. So that automation really starts prior to someone realizing, "Oh, I need self-storage." It's like that instant, I need it now. So our industry has to be at the point where how do we get them, what their needs are faster? And with automation and, trimming down, the in person because people want to move in at their time and at their hour. So really implementing that automation helps us from access without a live person. If it's after hours, that automation allows us to do our work at that operational standpoint better. So really, it's like from prior lead attribution to the life cycle of the customer
Yeah.
is really what we're seeing. So implementing those platforms and the technology pieces are key for us, especially with the rapid growth that we're going through. But more importantly, it's what platform works with the business strategy that we have in place for that growth model. So that's really what it comes down to. And, is that platform a long term success for us? Because anytime you have this automation piece in place, it's all driven by data, right? So if we don't have that data changes from one platform to the next and it's not efficient, it can really impact the automation of the platforms that are chosen for the business strategy. So yeah, for example, I mean, we use Swivel for our chatbot. There's different opportunities with many chatbots, but really diving into those platforms and their automation and maximizing the use of those platforms is where we see the significance in the aspect of the automation. So what do they have to offer? What better suits us for those platforms for our long-term strategy?
No, that's great. You mentioned something just briefly, but something I always love to kind of put a filter on it that way is the customer journey of
Yes.
automation. So that's why I always look at everything. We're like, well, okay, well, how do they first find out about us? The marketing. Then once they're in our
Yeah,
circle, now what's the automation?
absolutely.
So it's a great way to kind of look at things. So you were talking about for marketing, an example, the automation
Yeah.
was Swivel and the chat bots. And
Well,
that,
yeah,
and
that's one piece.
yeah, that's
You
eight.
know,
What else is
right.
using?
Yeah, so like you were saying with the customer journey. So from the start, before they even, when they say I need self-storage, it's how are they finding us, right? Through all of our ads. That's all automated. Google has a tremendous amount of tools, and there's so many different platforms that we're seeing that can automate that, and how frequent the frequency of that. So right. So automation isn't new. It's always I shouldn't say always been there, but it's been there for many years. But it's what I think we're refining is how we utilize it and how we build on what we already have, right? So if you look at the Google platform and how they built it, how do we take that and divide it into what makes sense for us in self storage, right? So from the automated advertising placement to following the journey, the buying journey, really, of that customer, and then reshuffling them back to Devon, right? So it's that whole automation of where are they going, where are they bouncing to, how do we continue to be in front of them, and then once they're in front of us, how do we help them down that journey? Since we don't work 24/7, right? Well, I would love to say we could get a lot more done, and some of us probably feel that way, but realistically, how do we always keep that customer journey alive for that transaction? So that's where we see a lot of the automation platforms and tools that we put in place,
Is
filling
that
that gap.
is that essentially like a retargeting campaign kind of thing? Is that I'm trying
So it really depends. So so really cool piece that we use is like our tenant mapping, and really diving into the data on the back end of our analytics, because we don't want to retarget someone that isn't interested in self storage. Where do they fall off? So what are the algorithms and insights telling us in that customer journey? They're bouncing to self storage and then off to buy those pair of gym shoes and don't come back. Do we follow them? So it could be retargeting, it could be display campaigns, it could be anything from search campaigns. So it really just depends on how that customer chooses to search, find us, and where they bounce to. The other aspect we use is map packs, right? How many times a day do we look for directions?
yeah.
um, and so it's where are we most relevant in those buyers for self storage at the time that they need us. So it's that constant change. It's that constant algorithm, which is all automation. It's all automated. So taking that and overlaying it with how do you drive that customer through the journey of converting, and then also then through the customer journey of being a customer and user experience long term.
No, exactly. I'm curious as far as we'll keep going through the analogy of the customer journey here.
Yeah.
For automation, you guys utilizing, automation for like call centers or for follow-ups or those kind of things?
Great question. So we do have a call center that's in place. They're 24/7. It's not automated currently. We actually have found through data and feedback that our customers that are calling in prefer someone live. So that's where we have that web chat that supplements those who don't want to speak live, but want to self-serve. So right, that automation when they come to the website and they say this is what I'm looking for. I need my gate code because I forgot my gate code. I need to pay my bill. I need access to my unit. Why can't I get access? So kind of like that digital assistant that they can get to 24/7. if they aren't looking for that live person. So that's more on the customer experience side once they become a customer. But even prior to becoming a customer, some of that automation helps guide them through what unit size do you need, right? So whether it's the chat bot or it's our call center or it's our website saying, trying to guide them to what is it that you're storing, what is it that you need, how can we help you find the right storage unit so you're not overpaying but maximizing the space for what your expectation is for your monthly cost.
Yeah, it's fun. I was gonna say, look at Devon's website, kind of go through and play with it sometimes because
Yeah.
that's how I
And
learn.
it's
I go to other people's websites and
yeah.
just kind of go through that experience. I'm like, ooh, I should be doing that. So,
Right. So,
you know,
right, that's how we all learn is
yeah,
either we have done it ourselves and have refined it, or someone else is doing it and doing it better, but how can we do it better than that? So, when you speak to the website, that is our biggest aspect is what can we do better? What can we do more efficient? And what is it that we need to put in place and what's the timeline? So our website, please look at our website. Feedback is always great. We are always in the middle of making changes to better suit our customer journey and user experience, and that automation. So when someone comes to our website, we know they're there. We get a lead form that automatically pushes into our database, into our FMS system, where our customer, their information is in there, and our team can either call them back within 30 seconds. That information is there.
yeah,
And then the other aspect to that is they're getting a live person if it's during working hours, but then they're also getting a text message and they're getting an email. And we have this set up based on triggers, so based on how many days in between have we gotten in touch with them, and the special messaging that's behind that, where we're using AI to generate those messages. Also with a human touch, right? We never want to push everything out AI because certainly don't want AI to go rogue, but that's a lot of the automation behind the scenes that helps that customer, um, you know, get get what they need and through the journey.
yeah. It's I would say this is gonna be an interesting year. I mean, that
Yes.
AI is always a buzzword. AI is such a buzzword right now, but it's
But
gonna
it's funny.
it's gonna weave itself into so many
Yeah.
different aspects of our businesses. It's gonna be
Yeah.
fun to watch.
AI's been there for a really long time. We just didn't realize it, right? Think about like when we first started getting cell phones and text messages, right? So they're building their database and all that data because it's data driven. Think about when that you had all your Google phone or Nest and your Series in your within your cell phones. Like Siri is, you're asking it a question and it's giving you an output. That's automation, and they're building the AI database. So I think the biggest thing is all of that data has come to fruition to where they could actually say now it is something more powerful, and enough power behind it that we can utilize it. But I think automation and AI put together with machine learning, I mean, that's how we become more efficient in our business, and how we can serve people 24/7. Um,
You know,
I mean, and support them in what they're, whether it's a need or a question. And so that's what gets me excited. I just think all of it pulled together is and utilized and understood is just going to make this world a whole different.
it's gonna be fun to watch. I mean, I look at that more as kind of going back to the customer journey
Yeah.
of utilizing this, and you have the data. I think it's gonna really focus and pinpoint lapses of things that could be done better.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Right.
there's a gap. There's a gap that needs to be
Yeah.
focused on. So I don't know.
Absolutely.
I can nerd out all
Absolutely.
day on that kind of stuff and
Oh,
talk
I could
about
too.
that.
I could too.
So with
Well,
at your site, kind of on the automation track, like physical products or things there that their customers are interacting with, that's a little more
so we do,
technological.
yeah, we do have a couple of remote sites or sites that are driven by kiosks.
Yeah,
So, and everyone's familiar with the kiosk, whether the kiosk is set up to interact with a live person that comes on if there's a question, or to help them through their journey at that kiosk, or if it is a step by step through an app that says, okay, here's your gate code, here's your unit number. Here's how you get to it. And it pulls up a map and it takes you right to your storage location on the map, all through an app, right? So that's all automation driving that journey. And that individual never has to come into the office, right? Even during working hours, because everything is done in their hands, and it's all automated from one system to the other to make sure those paths are taken and generated for that customer. So in office, those are, some of the pieces we use, but some of the other pieces our managers can, I mean, as soon as a lead comes in, they're sitting there working, maybe they're in front of a customer or helping a customer, working with, maybe there's a tenant that's like, hey, I've lost something, I can't find something. There's always a path where we want to make sure we're always servicing the customer in front of us. But there's always that gap of like, well, how do you serve the person on the website? How do you serve the person that's standing in line? So we use QR codes, right? Which is not new. It just came back around and became more prevalent after or during COVID. But they can literally scan the QR code on anywhere on our property, and that gives them everything they need. Whether they want to write a review, right? All of our reviews are automated. So write a review for us, access their gate code because the property manager is busy, or they have a question, or they need something on the website, they can make a payment. Everything right there through that QR code. Again, automation driving that to where they can self-serve, if that's their preference.
Really, the bottom line of all this is with automation is
Yes.
you're providing better customer service than ever before. I've had some
Yeah.
pushback from owners going like, well, it's so kind of a hands off, and I'm a face to face kind of guy. I'm like, things are a little bit different. You're actually providing better
Yeah.
service than ever before.
Yeah.
You like lean into the automation aspect of it.
Absolutely. And I think, I always attribute to like my parents, we grew up, this is going to put an age on me, where there were no cell phones, right? So I look at my parents now that they're in their 70s and they're like, you want me to scan what? But once they got the hang of it, they don't want to be in person now. Well, I can do it myself. And they get all super excited about it. So we have to look at our service, and how we apply that automation at all age ranges, right? We have to be able to service our customers at all variations of their lifetime. So it's really what works for that individual until they get comfortable. And that's really what automation has done, is close that gap of someone that wants that instant help now or that service now. We've put tools and parameters in place to support that.
No, exactly. You're able to assist people the way they want to be communicated with, and they can be
Absolutely.
involved as much as they want or not be involved. They kind of
Absolutely.
choose their path. That's great.
Yeah, I mean, I think the other piece of automation too is when we do move in and move outs at our property. You were asking about what does the team do at the office. Before, if you think back, we're going around asking people on surveys. You walk in, and you're like, okay, how did you enjoy your stay today? What could we do better? Now our teams know, and they're confident that anytime someone moves in or moves out, it is triggered that person gets a move-in letter within less than 30 seconds. It gives that customer here's how you move in, here's everything you need. Did you get your boxes? Do you need anything? Do you need an additional lock? And sharing with them those aspects of like, feel like you're in a rush and you forgot something. So that automation is walking them through that journey, so there aren't pieces of their process lost at site, right? So and then the move out, the same thing. And then at the end of those, we're saying, leave us a little feedback, right? Tell us how we did. What can we do different? What did you like about your process? So that you're constantly getting that feedback that all drives into a funnel that we can then break it down and evaluate it through our insights to constantly evolve our business.
Just curious, if you don't mind me asking, is that directly through your storage software, or is there like a separate CRM that you guys use?
So great question. So our storage software is, our truth of source. So everything, and what we talked about at the beginning of this call was, setting up your foundation to align with your business strategy is key. So we actually use a combination of Swivel and Bird Eye to bring those two aspects of what we just spoke about with the reviews and the surveys and the automation for move in, move out. So we use a combination of both of those platforms, but everything feeds back into our FMS system, which currently is Store Ally, and it's a cloud-based, right? So again, using that technology, but setting up those automation triggers have to align through all three platforms, so that they're pushing information back and forth. So it's not just pushing information one way, but then also tying that into our website and all your media outlets and your Google My Business, right? Because that's the big piece. So it's ensuring all of those integrations and all those pieces have really tight knots tied, so that your data points aren't sending, hey, Jim, you just got Vanessa's email saying Vanessa just moved in, right? So you don't want that, because we know it happens. I get a text message for someone I don't know. I'm like, well, that's not mine, and they certainly don't have my cell phone. But so just making sure you have all this connected. So, but once it's set up, it's a powerhouse, and I wholeheartedly stand behind it. And the data has shown that people are asking for the service. They're asking for that instant, feedback versus waiting and what's the next step, especially when you're looking to get storage. Like I said, it's not like you're going out to buy storage like you would a pair of gym shoes, but it's, I need storage right now. There was a life change that triggered this. There's a lot of stress behind it. So how do you minimize that stress, and get that customer what they need the fastest?
Oh, that's fantastic. That's why I'm having this conversation. I mean, I'm trying to beat this in everyone's head of you
Yeah,
can't ignore this anymore. The storage
right.
the storage owners, you can't put
Yeah,
your head in the sand anymore. You really got to get up to speed on this, because if you're not,
absolutely.
and next door is doing it, and they're gonna
Absolutely.
take customers.
I
Uh,
agree. And it's not going away. It's only going to become, the future, right? We already have cars that drive themselves. So why can't we have, self storage that you can rent yourself, right? And that's essentially what we're getting to. Is how do we support that? Not because we want to take jobs away. We all still have a job, right? Because there's a lot more work to be done at a location than just renting the unit. But it's how do we allow those property managers to work on the business versus in the business in the weeds, right? So
it,
it opens,
it's making
yeah,
everyone more effective by utilizing
yeah.
the tools. So
Absolutely, absolutely, and it gives them that time to, make the property the best it can be. What stand back and take a deep breath and say, what can we do with this property? Because I know the automation is set up to, look at it. Some of my team members say, oh, I have a digital assistant. Well, you do essentially, right? It's automation. That is your digital assistant. And they go out and test it to make sure it works, because it's technology, anything can happen. And so we're very rigorous about what's in place, the opportunities that my team has, and then again maximizing those platforms, and then as a long-term success partner with those platforms, what can we all do together to make it better long term? So I think that's exciting too, that these success partners absolutely are in it to win it with us, which makes it very easy and seamless when it comes to the integration of all the automation that we're using.
perfect. Well, we'll have to
Yeah.
continue the conversation, because it's something that's always ongoing. It's
Oh
always
yeah,
changing. It's
absolutely.
just about being on top of it, and keep that conversation going. So
Absolutely.
if you're up for it, we'll have to do a part 2 sometime in the future.
Oh my gosh, yes. Let's do it. I'm excited. I really appreciate this. And I just love sharing anything I can. We're all in this together, and that's our goal, right?
Perfect. All right. Well, sounds good. You take
All
care.
right. Thanks,
Vanessa.
Jim. Have a good one. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Before we wrap up, just a quick reminder. Do you want to level up your storage game? Visit theselfstorageshow.com. Grab some high-value freebies, check out top vendor spotlights, and stay in the loop with our newsletter. Do you want to chat about becoming a client with 3 Mile Storage Management? All the info's there. Plus, if you've got a story to share, we're listening. Everything you need is at theselfstorageshow.com.